Hello everyone, welcome back to DevOps Z Plus tutorials. In today's project, I am going to show you a complete real-time DevOps CI/CD pipeline using GitHub, Jenkins, Docker, and Docker. We will automate the entire software delivery process from code commit to application deployment without any manual intervention. Before we jump into the implementation, let's understand the architecture flow here. Here you can see the first stage is the developer. Everything starts with the developer. Everything starts with the developer. The developer writes the application code inside VS Code, adding a new feature and tests the application locally. So once everything looks good, the developer will going to push the changes to the GitHub repository. GitHub repository it's the center source of code repository. So every commit is stored safely with the version history. So as soon as the developer pushes code to GitHub, the GitHub immediately detects the new changes. Right. The next one is a webhook. Now the automation will start here. GitHub sends a webhook notification to Jenkins. Our next stage is a Jenkins. GitHub sends a webhook notification to Jenkins. Think of a webhook as a messenger that tells Jenkins the new code has arrived and you can start the pipeline. So in that case, there is no manual intervention, only automation will be happening. So once Jenkins knows something new changes happen, so Jenkins will trigger these stages. So what are the stages we are going to use here? The first one is here the build stage. So Jenkins compiles the application, dependencies are downloaded, source files are processed, and a production ready build artifact is generated. At this point, the application is ready to be packaged. Okay, so next stage is our Docker build. Now Jenkins execute a Docker build stage. Here Jenkins will create a Docker image. The application and all the required dependencies are packaged into a lightweight container image. This ensures that the application runs the same way in every environment. So once our image has been built, we are going to send it to the Docker Hub. So Docker Hub, how the image will send? Jenkins pushes it to the Docker Hub. Docker Hub acts like a central image registry where the application images are stored and version. So this image can now be pulled from anywhere and anyone can use that who's having an access. So once image has been pushed, it is going to deploy on our server. In the server, we are going to pull the Docker image. Then we are going to deploy using the Docker container. So once our application is deployed, we can check as a live. So user can visit to the site and he can check the new changes over that without any manually copying files or logging into the servers. So this is one of the architecture. So this is the documentation which is an end-to-end flow is here. What are all the requirement and what we are going to do it here. So you have to follow these things. So I have added this documentation or a description box. So you can go and check this. So first we'll check the requirement. So everything we are doing locally here. We are not going to use any server here. Okay. So at least you should have this requirement like 4 GB RAM, 2 CPU and 20 GB of free disk. And here we are going to use this operating system as a Ubuntu. Install these all the tools like Jenkins, Docker, Git, Node.js, Docker Hub and GitHub. So everything we are going to install in our local. If you do not have a Ubuntu or any Linux environment, so no worries, you can use here AWS EC2 instance or Azure VM as well. So you can do the same practical on over there. Okay, so let's scroll down and let's see the steps. So here are the steps. So our first requirement is to install the Java and Jenkins. Okay, so for the installation of Jenkins we should have to install the Java here. Okay, so see these are all the commands. sudo apt update open jdk java version. So sometimes what happen, the Jenkins will or Java will update the version, so this command won't work. So you can go to this official website and you can copy the command from here, so you will get the latest one. Okay, see, here they are going to recommend this Java version. So just I'll copy these commands from here and I will open and let me hit this. So once execution is done, we'll check the Java version. So you can see I have a Java version OpenJDK 21 as per this recommendation, right? 21. So just you have to hit this three command. The next one is here, the long-term support release. We can follow the steps for the installation of Jenkins. So just you have to copy and paste it in the your terminal. So once you hit this, you will able to install all the dependencies package and or application. So once you are done with this, you can check the status using the command sudo systemctl status jenkins. Same, my status is showing active. Okay, so everything I have mentioned in the documentation. See, once the installation is done, you can start the jenkins using the enable jenkins and start jenkins and you can check the status. So just now we have checked this command. Okay, now let's our jenkins has been start. So on which URL we are going to use, we'll have to hit this URL localhost 8080. Let me hit this URL. So our Jenkins is host on this port 8080. This is a by default URL. If you want, you can change this port as well if your any application is going on the same port. Okay, so now while installing, it is asking me to paste the password. So where will get the password? Just you have to copy this location. Okay, go to your terminal and just check using the command cat and see, this is a password. Just copy this password from here, go to the browser and paste it. Click on the continue. Once you click on the continue, you will get the two options for the installation of the plugins. So maybe recommended or custom plugins you can select it. See, there are two options showing, install suggested plugin or select plugin to install this. I'll click on the install suggested plugin and our installation will be start here. So these are all the by default plugin it's going to install. See all the plugins, time stamper, pipeline, git, email extension, ssh build agent. So these are all the recommended plugin it's going to be installed. So let's wait for the execution. So this installation happening, meanwhile we'll do the other activity. Let's go back to the documentation. Meanwhile we'll install this docker. So just you have to use this command sudo apt install docker.io -y. Let's copy and open your terminal, hit this. So once you hit, it's going to install the docker here. Then you will have to enable the docker and start the docker using this both command. Then after that we'll have to check the version. Okay, let me check the version. See, I have this 29.1.3 version. Okay, So I have a Docker. The next one is I have to give the Jenkins access to Docker. So this one is important while executing these commands through Jenkins. Okay, so that's why we'll have to use this one like sudo user mode -ag Docker and Jenkins. So this one basically giving the Jenkins access to the Docker. So we can execute the Docker command. So just copy this one and open your terminal and paste. So sudo user mode -ag Docker and Jenkins. Then after that we'll have to install means restart the Docker and we'll have to restart the Jenkins. So for now our Jenkins setup is in progress. So first let's wait. Later we'll restart it. Okay. Then after that we'll have to verify the particular group Jenkins. The expected output should be Jenkins and Docker. Okay. So our installation in progress. So meanwhile we'll update this next thing. You should have Git in your Ubuntu as well. So let's install the Git. So sudo apt install Git. So I already have a Git. Okay. So let's check the version. Git hyphen version. See, I have a 2.42 version. Okay. Um, Step 6, you have to create a Docker Hub account. So you should have a Docker Hub account because in this project we are going to store our Docker image to the Docker Hub account, right? So let's go back to your Docker Hub. So I already have a Docker Hub account. So let me show you how we can log in. Just you have to visit to Docker Hub site. So it is directly redirecting, I think, because I already logged in with this Docker Hub. See, so this is a very easy process. Just you have to click on the create account and you'll have to log in. You'll have to provide your username and password. Okay, or either you can log in with your email ID as well. So this is a very easy step for the create and Docker Hub account. Okay, so now we have a Docker Hub account. Let's check out Jenkins. So we'll see later. Okay, we'll have to provide a username. So let me provide a username here. Admin, admin, password. I'll give the thing. Okay, and just click on the save and continue. And now our Jenkins setup has been done. You have to provide the Jenkins URL. It's correct. 8080 and save and finish. Click on the start using Jenkins. So your Jenkins setup is completed. Now we can use the Jenkins. So let's go back to documentation. We have seen we left a few things here. See, we have updated this user and group. So it is recommended to restart this Docker and Jenkins. So our Jenkins has been started. So meanwhile we'll restart both. Okay, restart Docker and restart Jenkins. So I'm going to restart both those two at a time. See, it is asking the username and password. Let me select the username. Let me select the password. Providing the values. Click on the sign in. And see our both is done. And we'll have to validate one more thing. What was that? It's a group Jenkins. So let's copy and go to terminal. See Jenkins, it's showing here Jenkins Docker. Okay, this is an expected output. So now we are done with all this installation and setup. Now we'll have to update the code. Now see, this is a Jenkins portal. Okay, this is a Jenkins portal. Okay, let's first create a new item here. Let me click on the item. I'll give the project for this is my project. I click on the pipeline and I click on the OK. So this is my project. So I am not going to write anything for now. Okay, I'll left everything as it is. We'll follow the documentation. We'll add the Jenkins file and we'll execute all the stages. Then time I will explain those things. Okay, let's go back to your repository and see. So now this is a developer org. Developer will going to create an application. Okay, so see this, it's asking to create a directory, go inside a directory and write this app.js file. Okay, where we have to write this code and where we'll have to update this code to the repository, which repository. So we should have a GitHub repository. Okay, so this is my GitHub repository. So I am going to create a new repository, a DevOps project 4. I'll select a visibility mode public and I'll click on the create repository. So this is a GitHub. Okay, and here you can see all the steps they have given to add the remote and update our code. Okay, so I do not have this repository in my local. Okay, so first let me execute. These are all the steps. Like if you don't know like how can we push pull and this code, so you can follow these steps as well. See, simply they have mentioned like first echo DevOps project pod and update under the readme.md file. So I am inside the project 4 directly. There is nothing inside it. So just I'll hit this. So you can see there is one file has been created, readme.file here. So this is an output DevOps project 4 pro. Now let's initialize the repository using the git init. See, initialize empty git repository. You can verify using the ls-la command. You will get a .git directory here. Okay, now it is asking to add a readme.md file. Okay, see, let's we have added this file, right? Git add. Let me add a dot here. Let's give the commit update first file. Now our commit is done. Now branch, we'll have to select the branch. It is and they are saying to add this remote repository. Let me copy this and paste it here. So you can see this remote repository has been updated here. And let me try to push this code to your main code. So it will ask me for the username and password. So I already set up that, so it's not asking. See, let's go back to the refresh this repository and refresh this code. See, the readme.md file has been updated here. Okay, now similar kind of thing we'll have to update our application. So what it is showing, it is asking to app.js file and update this code. So this is a developer code like constant express, required express this root file going to execute our application on the 3000 port, and these are the logs running on the port 3000, and this is our output like DevOps CI/CD project working. Okay, so let me copy this and go back to the term.js. Let me paste it and let's see, we have a one file app.js. The next one is we have to update this package.json, because when we are doing the Node.js application we should have to update the dependencies and those things, right? So developer is going to use this dependencies. So let's update this package.js and paste our code. So what is that inside this? Like see, the version is there, our project name is there, it's going to start an application. This is an app.js, I'm going to test like echo test pass and dependencies which going to use this express keyword here with this version. Okay, so if you have a install npm in your local, so you can install and validate in locally as well. Okay, so now see, developer has done with the code app.js and package.js. The next one is here, we are not going to execute in local, right? We do not have a npm in our local, but we have a docker, correct? And if you see this docker file, we want to execute our code inside the docker file. See, the from node 20 hyphen alpine, so this is our official alpine image which we are going to use here for the deploying our application. The work directory we are using slash app inside our application will be there. Copying, it's going to copying the package.json inside this app directory, going to install all these packages and dependencies using the run command, and copying all these things inside this app one, and deploying our code inside this 3000 port. That's why expose keyword we are going to use, and this is a command for the starting this node.js application npm and start. So let's copy this docker file, let's go back to the our terminal and write a docker file. Make sure your docker file d always capital, okay? Otherwise it will not be considered. Now we have three file, app.js, package.js and docker file. Okay, so what is under the step 9? Step 9, it is showing to push to the GitHub. Okay, so we already initialize this and those things, so just we'll check the status first. Git status, let's add git add dot, let's give the commit message, git commit hyphen 1 updated node.js code. Okay, now check the status and push the code to our main branch. Git push origin and main. Okay, now my code is pushed to the repository. Let me refresh this. See, app.js, package.js and docker file, everything inside that. Okay, now what next? It is showing to install these plugins, Jenkins plugin. So I think we already install these kind of plugins in while doing the recommended things, right? So let's check again. So Jenkins plugin, so where we'll get this Jenkins plugins? We are inside the Jenkins. If you click on the right side setting option, you will get the manage pipeline. You just have to click on it there, and you will get one more option here, plugin. So click on the plugin and let's verify the plugins here, like pipeline, git client, docker pipeline, credential binding or GitHub. This they have suggested. So let's see the pipeline. So I don't see anything. It's see one of the docker pipeline it is showing. So let me click on this docker pipeline. Then I don't see any pipeline plugin. I think it's already installed. Let's see about the git client. Okay, it is not there, already available in our install plugins. Okay, so which is not required. So let's go back to our Jenkins. Once our plugin has been installed, we can configure this project. Okay, so now we are done with this. See, now we'll have to manage Jenkins and we'll have to update the credentials as well. So docker up credential will have to update. Okay, see, under the manage Jenkins credential system and global credentials. So same thing, right side settings. If you scroll down, you will get an option credential, add credential, username with password. Click on it. See, your username and password. Suppose My username is here, DevOps Z plus, and the password you will have to provide here. Okay, so this is my password. Then you will have to provide the value here. So what will be the value here? This is my Docker, right? So let me provide my Docker Hub ID. Click on the create. Okay, now you are done with this. Okay, now let's create another one. I want to create one more because my repository has a password. Okay, so I'll have to provide my password for the repository as well, and I will give this git create ID. Okay, let me create this. We are done with these credentials. See, they have mentioned create a Jenkins pipeline. So we already created, right? We have created with the project board. Now we'll have to update this Jenkins file. So let me copy and I'll explain you Jenkins file. See, this is a pipeline agent in a environment which we are going to use here. These are all the stages similar like uh, uh, GitLab. Okay, in the GitLab also we are using a different stages. So here also we are using inside the stages different stage, correct? And these are all the global things. Okay, if you see here the environment, see the image name, here we'll have to provide our Docker hub name. Okay, then a container name which we are going to use in below, which is a Node.js app. Inside the stages, if you see the stage is here, the first stage is here checkout. The steps, inside the steps, if you see the git branch, so which branch will have to be work. So our main branch is there, right? So that's the main branch has been defined. I'll have to provide my GitHub URL here. Okay, the next one is, so this is the first stage which is a git checkout. Means it's going to pull the image from, we pull the complete code from GitHub to the Jenkins. The next one is a build stage. The next in the build stage, what is happening here, it is going to build an image. So using the sh command, so docker build hyphen t dollar image name colon latest. So image will name will come from here. Okay, so here we'll have to update our image name. The name, the docker will build an image with this name. Okay, once done with that, we are going to log into our Docker. Okay, so see the steps with credentials. This is a predefined things here, which you have to add it inside the Jenkins file with the username, password, credential ID. While we have defined the credential inside the manage credential, if you remember, we have given the credential ID with the Docker of ID. Okay, and username, variable, and password. So this will come from there, whatever the names we have given there. Okay, then next it will take these values from here. Okay, it will take the values from here, whatever the username and password we have defined there. The next one is going to push the image using the command docker push and the image name to the repository, because we already authenticated with the Docker app. And the next one is, the last one is deploy to container. So we'll have to going to check the stop. It's going to stop the old container with the same image. If not there, it's going to pull a latest image. Okay, with the same the image name which we have defined in above. Okay, then once done with that, is going to execute all the running command docker run hyphen d, which is in detach mode. Or container name is, okay, the container name also we have defined here, the Node.js app, and the port, the 3000 port, which we knows inside the Docker file we have defined, and our image name in the latest one. Okay, so let's copy this Jenkins file, go to our dashboard, select our project, click on the configure. See, we are not going to select these are all the things like discard old builds. If you see here, we can mention the value like the 4 days old or 7 days old. uh, the build is there, so we can delete it automatically. do not allow concurrent build. GitHub project, if you want to provide only project URLs, we can provide it here. The pipeline speed, durability, and this kind of thing is there. These are all we are not going to see it here. These are all the automated action is here. Build periodically, build after other project are built. GitHub hook trigger for Git SCM polling. Trigger build remotely from script. So these are all the automated things which we are not going to see it here. Okay, we'll directly go to the pipeline section and we'll select here the pipeline script, and let me paste this pipeline script here, and I'll have to update my username. Okay, so my username like this, I'll update this. Your GitHub repository, I'll go to the my GitHub repository and I'll copy this HTTPS code from here, and I'll have to paste it here. Okay, the next one is the build images, everything is fine. Docker login. Okay, I have updated this thing. Let's save it and try it if it will work fine. If no, you can see here our pipeline process has been started. If you see here the cloning the repository, the first stage it's going to cloning the repository. The next one is here, it's going to build an image. Okay, we're going to build an it's the image has been created. See, this is our Docker file. Okay, the next is going to checking all the dependencies and these things. See, the next one is our image has been created given the particular tag roopstan Node.js CI/CD latest. The next stage is a Docker login. So see, Docker login. So this is my username and password. The login has been succeeded here. I'm going to push the image to the Docker hub. So let's validate. Let's go back to the Docker hub and let's see. Let me refresh. See, the 1 minute ago this image came here, right? Yeah, this is a latest image. Then after that, once the image is pushed, it's going to stop the old container with the same name. So I had old container with the same names, it's been deleted. Then next, Docker pull this latest image, pull the image, and see, the deployment has been done with this command. If you see, the pipeline has been succeeded. So let's go to the terminal and validate with the docker ps command. See, about a minute ago our deployment has been done. So let me go back to the browser, localhost 3000, and you will see DevOps CI/CD project working. So this is a flow which we have done with this. Yeah, we will have to update. Let me update. I will update. Thank you for watching. So this is my small update which I have done here. Let me add it here. Git commit -m update version. Let me push. Okay, if you see, my code has been pushed to the GitHub repository. See, just now app.js has been updated. So if you observe here, this pipeline will not be triggered automatically, right? Because we haven't configured any webhook here. So now this time I'm going to click it manually, build now, and upcoming session I will show you how can we configure webhook with the Jenkins. So in that case, what will happen now, when we update the code directly from GitHub, sorry, local to GitHub, your Jenkins pipeline will be triggered automatically. You do not need to trigger it manually. Okay, because this session is going to be long, so I will add it in upcoming session. So if you see, the same thing is happening again. It's going to checking out the particular branch, then going to build a latest image, going to log into the Docker Hub, uh, push the image to the Docker Hub, remove the old container and deploy the latest container. So let me go back to terminal and let's see our Docker PS. See, 24 seconds ago. And let me refresh this page. See, thank you for watching, guys. So I hope, guys, you understood this project, and thank you for watching. We'll see you with the webhook session. Thank you.